Hey guys, Jeff Weibel here, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about why you should not be a landlord in 2025. If you are one, it's okay. But I just want to tell you that I am I guess, quote unquote, professional landlord. I have management, paralegals, and there's a lot on the go always just to make money in this thing called real estate, which is probably why you got into real estate to begin with, was to make money. And a lot of people forget that. They think that, oh, I'm going to become a landlord, make a lot of money, and then they end up taking courses and classes and all this stuff. And it's like, didn't I just want to be invested in real estate to make money? And literally, I know that sounds stupid, but it's what a lot of people forget about. And then they find themselves at meetups and all this stuff and learning strategies and stuff like this. So here's some of the stuff that I had to deal with this weekend that my investors don't even have to deal with anymore because I had to deal with this. So we were going to do a cash for keys situation on Friday night. And what that means is it's a mutual release of the tenancy, meaning mutual. It's not a rent eviction. We're not like, we're going to bulldoze your place. You better get out of here. It's like, hi, tenant, do you want money for exchange for your key? Yes or no? As simple as it is, that's what that is. And if they say no, they have all the rights in the world to continue on being a tenant, especially in Ontario. But if they say yes, then there's a kind of a contract. And usually the contract would be like, all right, well, you got to provide vacant possession. So get out of your unit and give me the key. So this was planned for this Friday. And if you have busy lives and you're just a small time landlord and you have a duplex, triplex, and you got hockey practice, soccer, dinner out with your significant other, whatever, this is the kind of stuff that can really piss off landlords and eventually lead to them wanting to sell. So this person wasn't ready, and it was 8 p.m. on a Friday, and normally my managers kind of take care of this stuff, but this is very important for us to be able to get the turnover of the unit, because if they do want to take this deal, then I can renovate it, then I can increase the value of the unit. And the tenant wasn't ready, and there was a bit of telephone game going on, and the tenant was almost like, well, then the deal might be off then if I can't get out. And I'm like, whoa, has anyone actually talked to this person, or they're just like texting battle and like lost in translation? So I get on my cell phone, I call the person, I'm like, hi, I'm the owner, and we want to give you your money, just trying to figure out when we can get this key off you, because we're not going to pre-send the money and then you never get out. And she's like, no, that makes sense. I'm like, okay, so I am dealing with somebody that's common sense here, but just sometimes you can't do everything in this business, so you're trying to have your managers communicate this stuff to them, and it's just what happens. So I'm ready to go out a 45-minute drive in the dark on a Friday night at midnight to get the key, and the tenant just like ghosts texting me for some reason, and then texts the manager around 11 p.m. being like, "Oh, be ready tomorrow morning." And at this point, the contract is kind of null and void, but it's like, okay, well, let's just still keep in communication, because my main objective is to get the apartment. If she's late, if there's snow on the ground, U-Haul is delayed, etc., whatever, like, we'll just deal with it. Buy her an extra couple days here, and maybe she'll contact us. All Saturday goes by, you're trying to contact this person, so you're in the middle of trying, again, go to skating, go to hockey, go to gymnastics, and then you're like, oh, I got to deal with this. So I'm dealing with this at my level. I can't even imagine what people are dealing with this when they have like one unit. So eventually it comes, I'm watching a little bit on the cameras. We can see like the parking lot, and you can see a bit of the hallway. I'm like, oh, okay, well, they are trying to move some stuff out. So she's working away towards this. Long story short on this is, it's not till like Sunday afternoon, finally, she says to the manager, come on out and get the key. So now I'm not going. I was going to go on that Friday night just to get it done, but now the manager can go out at like lunchtime on Sunday. And of course she's not ready. So it's like 2 more hours later. And then you just get like, I'm done. And I'm like, okay, does everybody have the keys? And before I e-transfer this money. And there we go. So we get the keys, and she's gone. She's happy. And we get the apartment. The apartment looks like it needs renovation, we'll just say. So that's kind of what happens when we purchase a building. It's not like I had pre-renovated any of the units. We just kind of get what we get, and Ontario has rules, and we follow the rules for the tenants. Whatever they're paying is what they're paying, right? So we can only increase the rent in Ontario by 2.5% annually. That changes every year. So that's what it is right now. So there's that. And then at the same time, concurrently, we have the next story. If you're still on the video, thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. And we got a brand new tenant go into a different building, and this tenant moved in, signs the lease. I think not even, maybe like 45 days tops has gone by, and we're getting complaints from our existing tenants that there's somebody running up and down the hall screaming and swearing, and late night activity coming to the side window of this apartment. And I'm like, none of this makes sense, because the person that did apply for the apartment had a job, made a lot of money, and it just wasn't. I was like, really? Like, sometimes we deal with this with existing tenants, but not like somebody that just applied for the apartment. I'm like, where did we go wrong here? And we also had my contractor call me one day. He's like, they were putting a dishwasher and laundry into this unit or something, and they mentioned that there's a sublet. And I'm like, how is there a sublet? One, we didn't approve it as the landlord, and two, this is so new in the lease. Why would there be a sublet like 30, 45 days into this lease without us being told? So I was like, that was strange. And then getting these complaints, then we reach out. Basically what we found out was the person had moved in a girlfriend or something, and things happen, and they're going through a breakup, but the original tenant wanted to have nothing of this. And I'm like, well, that's not how that works. You can't just like rent a hotel room, drop off all your buddies, and then they have a party and be like, well, I wasn't there. Well, it's on your credit card kind of thing, right? Or you can't just get a phone and pay the contract to the phone, and somebody else takes it away and does something with it, and you're like, well, that wasn't me, like, well, no, you're on contract. So yeah, we're dealing with this. The tenant, obviously, probably emotional situation, and we're sympathetic to that, but it's like, you got to deal with this. I don't care if you put a third party in place, but you got to go text this person to be like, you need to get out. The apartment's no longer mine. I've given it up. So that this tenant gave up the tenancy that early, and we were just like cutting our losses at this point. But I don't even know what's going on right now, if this person has left or not. So to be continued. You can text me on Instagram to find out what happened there. But we're going to be following up with the police there. And at the same time, both situations are kind of going on, and it's rent day, and then at the same breath, there's new move-ins coming in, and then they're like, our microwave didn't get fixed, and like, okay, shoot. That's just something that slipped off the list, and now that has to get fixed. And it's like, all right, and the unit wasn't cleaned. Cleaners just never cleaned. So I'm like, well, let's cut a deal with the tenant and be like, do you want to just move in anyways and take $100 off your rent for next month, and then you can do the cleaning? And they were happy with that. And then the microwave actually got put in the same day, but I had to like scramble on a Saturday to figure this all out. So behind the scenes, all this kind of stuff's going on, and it's all kind of like interweaving. And at the same breath, we're supposed to be raising capital and just having family life on the weekends, I guess. I don't, but I do and I don't. You guys see me on Instagram. I'm always doing something, solving a problem for Foundation Capital. But this is just a small little example of a Saturday plus rent collection of why a lot of landlords are frustrated in Ontario. And then in the same breath, the rest of the week, we have court cases going on with tenants that owe us $20,000, and we're just taking the eviction versus getting that $20,000. It's just an unfortunate cost of business that when we purchased a building, we just had a bad tenant that never paid. If you're a small-time landlord and you have a duplex, triplex, this is devastating. We have 250 units, so 2 or 3 bad apples it's okay because we have all the other units that help us out. So a lot of Ontario landlords right now, especially like Kitchener, Toronto, London, they're selling their multifamily. Now they have a lot of equity, and they're just investing in our private REIT because they can get 15% plus targeted annual returns for none of this headache. And I'm not even out there. Oh, we also had, my sink won't drain. And it's so funny that, no, these problems don't change. 12 years ago when I was doing student rentals, my shower won't drain, my sink won't drain, all this stuff. And I'm like, have you tried hot water and dish soap? Have you tried buying Drano yourself? And then you don't want to get like the normal Drano. You want to get this like industrial Drano from like Home Hardware and such. But all these old problems that I used to run around driving my car and figuring out how to solve. Now I have to like coach the managers how to do this, and it's like none of this changes. And with all the difficulties with the tenant laws in Ontario, a lot of landlords are just like, you know what, I'm done. Because if you go back to my beginning of this video, what did I say? You probably got into real estate to make money, and somewhere along the line you forgot this, and then you became a landlord, right? And so that's why we're having a lot of people starting to sell off a little bit of their portfolio. They're like, okay, I'm sitting on profit. I'm really tired of a clogged sink text on Saturday. Let me just sell. And then they get chunks of like 100K, 200K, $250,000 from these properties. And then they make the investment, and then they can profit in real estate, the thing they already know that does make money, as long as you can cut out all the kind of the BS that just happens on the daily. And then they just make the returns in my private real estate trust. So let us handle all that, because all I'm doing is managing the managers on my Saturdays and such for you guys to make the profits in the trust. So it's been great. We have about 18 million assets under management right now, about getting close to 6 million in raised funds in the REIT. So the REIT only purchases cash flowing businesses buildings that still have a bit of juice left. So like they're never fully turned over. They might be at 80, 75%, 80%, that kind of stuff. It still gives the investor a bit of a juice to make returns in the future when we get the last couple tenants turned over. And this is from, again, cash for key situations or natural turnover, tenants move, or violations. They're just not paying the rent or something, and we get them out. So what I call legal evictions. So anyways, do not be a landlord in 2025, because it's just a nightmare. That's just like one weekend. I was saying to my wife, it's like, you have no idea how much I'm like solving in between like pouring milk and cereals and this and that, because it's just like on the text all day, and it comes at you fast. It's never like, hey, you're doing a great job, landlord. It's always a problem. It's just like you work at a hotel desk, or at least like that's how the tenants write you, and like my water's not hot or something. It's just like always something that we got to quickly deal with. And if you're gonna have a flood or something, it's always gonna be Friday night, right around midnight, or Saturday night, and it's never like Monday morning at like 11. It's always gonna be at the off hours. And anyway, that's just why a lot of landlords are just like, you know what, I'm here to make money. I'm out. So if you're still doing it, all the power to you. But maybe consolidate some of your bad apples and be like, let me just liquidate a couple of these. I'll keep my easy ones, and we'll invest the profits that I still have in these ones in the REIT. And then that'll be a little bit of my retirement plan there. So food for thought for you guys. Thanks so much for watching the video, and we'll see you soon. Bye.